Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hillbilly Voodoo channel. This is Project EOR, our extreme off-road wheelchair thing. Yeah, thing. It's going to be a tracked vehicle, kind of shaped like a wheelchair. It's made out of snowmobile parts and lawnmower parts and all kinds of other weird things that have been laying around here. Last time, we got our brakes put together. It's going to have skid steering. And we've used motorcycle parts, motorcycle caliper, motorcycle rotor. And last time we got our brake caliper bracket finished. And we had to rinse and repeat and do the other side. So, as you can see, we've got the other side done now. So for those of you just finding us, it's going to have skid steering, so we'll lock up one brake and it will turn that way, and lock up the other brake, it'll turn the other way. What should we tackle next? Well, I think the next step is going to be to get that rim that we are using to drive those tracks to sort of kind of look like those drivers. Now, how are we going to get that rim to look like those drivers? Well, I think the plan for now is to cut pieces of steel, weld them from flange to flange on this rim at the same pitch as those drivers. Is this going to work? I have no idea. Every single tracked vehicle that I have ever built seems to have some different configuration of driver for the track, because every time I build something, it kind of turns out better. I've built in the past probably, well, I think I'm up to 6 different tracked vehicles now, and if you go back through my channel, you can see, well, at least one of them. But anyways, what are we going to make these pieces of, well, track driver out of? I'm going to have to go outside and wander around and find some stuff, I guess. Well, as you can see, the polar vortex that we had at the beginning of the week has been replaced by almost 2 feet of snow just yesterday. At least it's warm out now, but the problem is, all my really good piles of junk are buried in the snow. So we're going to have to get out the hydraulic helper and dig us out some stuff. Well, the old hydraulic helper came through for us, and we found this really large piece of stuff that was all welded together to be a rock crusher at one time. Wasn't a failed project, but it wasn't big enough for the rocks that I have in this yard, so now it can get repurposed. All this channel is good and fairly straight, so we'll just cut the welds and reuse all this stuff. Pretty much nothing goes to waste around here, and things around here usually have more than one life, get built into multiple different projects. So I'm not going to bore you with you watching me cut apart a piece of junk, but I'll bore you with you watching me build a piece of junk. So I'm going to cut this apart and then we'll go from there. We got our rock crusher broken down into usable or more manageable pieces anyways. A little bit of grinding here and there and cut off wheel and it came apart. Ground down those welds and the pieces eventually snap apart once you get the welds ground down. Now I'm going to go off on a little bit of an inner monologue rant here. I originally started this channel because I was getting sick and tired of watching the drama and all the bullshit with the sparkly beard dudes that were flying in helicopters and what have you, and smashing and wrecking $100,000 worth of equipment. So if you're into that kind of stuff, well, this might not be the channel for you. But if you're into building things out of other things and using what you have to make what you want, or what I call hillbilly voodoo, this is definitely the channel for you. So you should probably subscribe right now so that it will pop up on your recommendeds whenever you're sitting there on the couch or doing whatever you're doing and you want to watch something that isn't complete mindless crap. So anyways, like, subscribe, all that other YouTube stuff, not because it's going to make me millions of dollars, but because then it will show up on your recommended and it will show up on other people's recommended and they can watch stuff that isn't just mindless crap. Okay, we're going to get back to grinding on this stuff, so yeah, I'll bring you back when it's all apart. Got the welds all ground down on this other piece of rock crusher here, and about 10 minutes I smoothed it all out there. Now I'll show you how easy it is to snap this stuff apart. Grab the little pipe wrench, put her on there, and lean on it. There you go. You got yourself a piece of channel that for about 15 minutes worth of work, less time than it would have took to warm up the pickup truck to go to town and buy it. You've probably saved, oh, I don't know, there's all the pieces that I've got here now, there's probably 20 feet, so that's, I would say, damn near close to $100 worth of steel that you just recycled and didn't have to spend the money on. Got one of our pieces of channel that we recycled from the rock crusher here. I've drawn a line down the middle of it, and we will cut it down the middle, split it in half, and then we're going to cut it on the edge, split it in, along the edge there. So we'll have, out of each piece of channel, we'll have 4 inch, I believe it's an inch and a half. Yeah, we'll have 4 1.5 inch pieces that are 16 inches long. And the rim itself is 8 inches, so we'll be able to get 8 pieces of, well, I guess they're going to be drivers, 8 pieces of the driver out of each piece of channel. I'll cut it, and then I'll show you what the pieces are going to look like after they're cut. Got our pieces cut down here into our 1.5 inch chunks of flat bar. I've ground down the really sharp edges so they're not slicing the crap out of you. And I haven't cut these pieces in half, so they're the 8-inch wide pieces for the rim, but that'll be the next step. I think the next step is to completely violate this very not rusty rim, which is kind of rare to find around this place, a not rusty rim. We're gonna have to violate it by grinding all the powder coating and paint or whatever that stuff is on there off of there so that we can weld to it without a bunch of yuck. As you can see, I've started marking the pitch out on there, which I'm gonna have to remark after I grind all the stuff off, but I just wanted to count how many pieces that we were gonna have to go across here, and it's, you can see I've marked it here. The total, we need 17. The pitch is 60 millimeters. What pitch means is the distance between these two drivers, which is also the distance between the lugs on the track, which the lugs on the track drop down into here, and these little things drive that track. So what we're doing by welding these pieces of steel across the rim are having that piece of steel will be welded across there, and our track lugs will drop down into there like that and hopefully drive this thing. That's the plan. Is this going to work? Well, it works on lots of other machines like tanks and other type of track vehicles that they have an internal driven track. If it doesn't work, then we are going to take little teeth and weld them onto these pieces of steel that we weld across, and then it will be an externally driven track. So we got another plan in case the first one doesn't work, but well, that's just plan B. Sometimes we end up going on to plan C and D, and when we get to plan Z, we just kind of throw everything in the garbage and start over again. So we'll grind this rim all down. I won't bore you with the actual sanding it down, and I won't horrify you with the fact that I'm taking a really nice clean rim and wrecking it by grinding all the paint off it. Okay, we'll be back in a bit. So, is everybody on the bus with what we're doing now? I know the bus is kind of short and it smells like cheesy feet, but there's enough room for everybody, and at least you won't have to walk. So these are our pieces of steel that we cut. We ground all that beautiful, nice rim down and made it all yucky, and welded these pieces on here. So these are going to drive the lugs on the track. And what do I mean by lugs? Those are the lugs. So if everything works properly, those lugs will drive down in between those bars. And if it doesn't work that way and starts to skip and ratchet, then we're going to take and weld some teeth on here that will be poked through the windows in the track right there, and it will be driven off with those. We won't do that until we know whether these lugs are going to drive the track. But that's the basic plan. I'm going to weld all these up and do the one for the other side. Weld that one up. And we'll put the track on and test it out. I think we're going to leave this video here for today. Well, until next time, remember, use what you got to make what you want.